Today on Rappler, Senate President Enrile pushes for a probe on Senator Soto's alleged plagiarism. The Freedom of Information Act is dead in the 15th Congress. And a magnitude 5.8 earthquake shakes parts of western and central Visayas. Hello, I'm Natasha Gutierrez, singing for Maria Ressa. Welcome to Rappler, your social news network. After downplaying an ethical complaint against Senator Tito Soto, Senate President Juan Ponce Enrile now pushes for a probe on Soto's alleged plagiarism. Soto faces an ethical complaint for 9 instances of plagiarism he committed in his speeches against the reproductive health bill. Enrile earlier said lawmakers may not be held accountable outside Congress for their statements made inside the chamber. But he clarifies senators accused of plagiarism can be investigated by their peers. He adds, "We are not condoning the act of plagiarism in the Senate." Enrile and Soto are longtime political allies. On Tuesday, Soto apologized for copying quotes from the late U.S. Senator Robert F. Kennedy without attribution, but denies it was plagiarism.
Copying or imitation is the highest form of flattery. But if it upsets the Kennedy family, well, then I'm sorry.
Soto invokes the parliamentary privilege of free speech, but Enrile says no senator is immune to an ethical complaint. The Freedom of Information bill fails to hurdle the House Committee on Public Information Tuesday. After almost 2 hours of discussions on the bill, Committee Chairman Representative Ben Everdone moved to adjourn the hearing on the bill on November 27. The Right to Know Right Now coalition says the bill is now dead in the 15th Congress. In a statement, the coalition says the move was the final blow delivered by Everdone and Nueva Ecija Representative Rodolfo Antonino. It adds, it left the rest of the committee members uncannily helpless to stop the slaughter of the FOI. Deputy Speaker Erin Tanyada, one of the principal authors of the bill, says he is disappointed with the way Everdone handled the committee hearing. Everdone had earlier suspended a hearing on the bill because there was no available room in the House. FOI came close to becoming a law in the 14th Congress, but because of the lack of a quorum, the House failed to vote on the bill. A magnitude 5.8 earthquake shakes part of western and central Visayas Wednesday afternoon. The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology reports the quake's epicenter is located 26 kilometers northwest of Cauayan, Negros Occidental. It was felt in most of Panay, Negros, and Cebu. PHIVOX records intensity 5 and 6 towns in Negros Occidental, the names of which you see on your screen. It also records the same in Iloilo City. Rappler editors and reporters who are in Bacolod City for the #MoveBacolod chat series also report feeling the tremor. Students were sent home after the earthquake. The chat series was moved to the office of the Negros Press Club. Disqualified party list group's Alliance for Nationalism and Democracy wants a House inquiry into the mental fitness of Chairman Sixto Brillantes Jr. to head the Commission on Elections. Incumbent ANAD Representative June Alcover urges the House Committee on Suffrage and Electoral Reforms to make sure Brillantes is physically and psychologically fit to respond to the rigors and demands of his job. Alcover is reacting to Brillantes' order reviewing the accreditation of all party list organizations, including those already holding seats in Congress. The poll body has disqualified at least 100 party list groups, but the Supreme Court stops the disqualification of 8 party list groups from the 2013 elections. Rappler goes around provinces in the Philippines for an in-depth look at the politics and the people 6 months before the 2013 elections. Here's a look at the political dynasties of Camarines Sur and the attitudes that perpetuate these clans in power. Taxi driver Jojo Estrada lived in Camarines Sur all his life. He tried to work in Manila but eventually returned. He says he is happier and less stressed here. But Jojo is frustrated with the divisive politics. He says it is to blame for the slow progress of the province.
Sa Camarines Sur sana yung maayos yung magkaisa yung mga yung issue ng mga politiko para maging mauswag yung o maging matagumpay yung isang bayan para maging maging yung mga tao ba mabigyan din ng pagkakataon na maginhawa rin sila.
Estrada's sentiment is common in Camp Sur, one of the country's poorest provinces. Voters say they want change. In the province, there's bickering not just between parties, but even within families. 77-year-old incumbent 3rd District Congressman Luis Villafuerte Sr. is running for governor. His opponent? His 24-year-old grandson. He had a falling out with his rival's father, incumbent third-termer Governor El Rey Villafuerte. Congressman Villafuerte is also fielding his wife, Nelly Villafuerte, to take his position in the House. She will go against late Interior Secretary Jessie Robredo's widow, Lenny. The Villafuertes are only one of several political dynasties that ruled the province for decades. Ironically, voters say they want improvement, but also don't see anything wrong with the ruling families. They say they vote for these clans because they have the experience anyway.
Siguro ang magtatagumpay pa rin yung may mga nasa pwesto dahil talagang kilala na sila. Sa tingin ko pare-parehas lang naman sila Sa ibang kuha na lang, ibang mga ideas nila, yung proyekto kung saan nila gagawin yung mga kanilang yung mga plataforma nila na dapat nilang magawa.
This is the challenge for new candidates, to convince voters hope lies outside traditional politics. Lenny Robredo says she is running to end the Villafuerte dynasty, but she says in order to win, she must change voters' mentality.
Parang yung konsepto ng politika dito sa amin, patronage talaga. Ako, if I will be given this chance, gusto kong mapalitan yun lahat. Kasi yung asawa ko, parang yung nadatnan ditong politika, ganun din. Pero during his first term of office, parang nabago niya yung ganong mentality. At nung nabago niya yung ganong mentality, yung mga tao dito sa amin, mas naniwala sa sarili nila.
Candidates have 6 months to make voters believe they are not just subjects, but also stakeholders. Most voters in Camp Sur are like Jojo, who dream of change, but don't fully understand what it takes to get there. China's ruling Communist Party ends its Congress Wednesday that put Vice President Xi Jinping a step closer to taking power in the next decade. The week-long Communist Party ends after over 2,000 delegates from around the country select a new leadership committee of roughly 200 party members. Xi was renamed to the Central Committee. President Hu Jintao closes the Congress, saying it has, quote, come to a victorious conclusion. Hu opened the meeting, warning the party faces the threat of collapse if it cannot rein in rampant corruption. The Congress, held every 5 years, selects a new circle of leaders at a time when China faces major economic challenges and growing scrutiny from its citizens. The party did not immediately release the full Central Committee list. A transparency report released by Google points to the rise of government surveillance of online activities. A Google senior policy analyst notes a clear trend from analyzing 6 transparency reports since 2010. The report, released Wednesday, lists the number of government requests for information and content removals related to copyright. The U.S. government made the most number of information requests. From January 1 to June 30, 2012, the U.S. government made 7,969 user data requests. Let's now look at Rappler's Wrap for today, a list of the 10 most important events around the world you shouldn't miss. At number 5, President Barack Obama expresses faith in General John Allen despite a recent report involving the high-ranking general in a flirtatious email exchange with a Florida socialite. According to a spokesperson for Obama, the newly re-elected president thinks very highly of General Allen and his service to the U.S. as well as the job he has done in Afghanistan. He served as deputy commander to General David Petraeus, the former CIA director who resigned this weekend after the FBI uncovered his extramarital affair with his biographer. General Allen, who currently leads 68,000 troops in Afghanistan, says he has done nothing wrong. At number 7, animated GIFs, those image files containing several frames that make an image look like a short video clip, were a big hit during the late 90s and are making a comeback on social networking sites like Tumblr. This is probably why the Oxford American Dictionary has chosen it as its 2012 Word of the Year. According to the dictionary, the word GIF is a verb that means to create a GIF file, an image or video sequence. GIF beats out other words including YOLO, which means you only live once. And at number 8, after the Lance Armstrong doping scandal, the International Cycling Union, or UCI, sets up a doping hotline for cyclists who want to blow the whistle on fellow riders. In an online statement made on its website, USI head Pat McQuaid says the hotline will be confidential and will take time to build trust, but he hopes it will eventually, quote, accelerate the change in culture that we need in our sport. McQuaid also rejects complaints that the UCI does not follow up tip-offs. He says it does and will continue to do so, quote, within the bounds of what is legally feasible. For the full top 10, visit Rappler.com's The Wrap. Every story on Rappler has a mood meter, which gives you 8 emotions to choose from. Click on how you feel and your vote comes down to the Mood Navigator in the middle of the front page, which crowdsources the mood of the day. It also gives you the top 10 stories that got the most clicks. Let's check today's Mood Navigator. The Mood Navigator today, as it was yesterday, is dominantly red, showing that most people are angry. The most popular story on our Mood Navigator remains to be Soto's apology to the Kennedy family on the plagiarism issue that has plagued him. In that story, he apologized but refused to say that it was actually plagiarism. That has 81% of readers feeling angry. Another non-Soto-related story that makes people angry? Senate President Enrila's refusal to discuss the RH bill. That has 87% of people feeling angry. A recent story, however, that is a different mood, adding a splash of green on our Mood Navigator, is a story on the incumbent partyless groups shutting down their offices to protest another partyless group, Bayan Muna. That has 64% of people feeling inspired and 0% of people feeling angry. However, it's not enough to change the mood of the day, because today, most people are angry. That's Rappler's Newscast for today, Wednesday, November 14, 2012. Visit Rappler.com and watch our newscast Monday to Friday. Tell us how you feel on our mood meter and help us crowdsource the mood of the day. I'm Natasha Gutierrez, and as we say at Rappler, tomorrow begins today. We leave you with images from the November 14 solar eclipse.